Everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of MouseMinds. Here we are live for you on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, and then we are also recording live for you for our podcast on Fridays. We release it every Friday at 5 p.m. Find that on all your favorite podcasting platforms. I am joined this week by our amazing co-host Michael. Say hello, Michael.
Good evening.
Hey,
Could be brain freeze. It's a little cold.
listen, brain freeze is listen. If you don't know already, the state of Florida is broken. It is having issues. There's snow in the northern half. This is like doesn't happen all the time, but there's snow. We're freezing down here in Central Florida. It's been raining all day. It's been drizzly. It's been pouring rain. It's been all kinds of amazing, wonderful things. But yeah, we're here now. Speaking of that, and speaking of the rain and the cold, more importantly, the cold. For this week's topic, we wanted to talk about things to do at Walt Disney World that are relatively warm. And the reason why I bring this up is because I was thinking about this at work today. I had this vision in my head of where I'd want to be um, if it was cold here in Florida, where I'd want to be in general. And there was one place that came to mind, which I'll talk about in a minute here, that came to mind when thinking of where do I want to be. So, Michael, it has been, well, I say freezing because it's been like 45, but everyone has a different value of freezing. But how are you holding up over there?
Oh, I mean, I'm talking to family back up north, and they're talking, I think it was 8 degrees right now back on Staten Island. And then you get the wind chill and all the other funness. I think tonight they said it was going to go down to 38 here. And
Oh, wow.
38 Florida is a whole different 38.
Wow.
So not quite what we signed up for, but here we are. And like you said, the thing with Walt Disney World, yeah, the locals can, you pack a quick trip in. Some of these folks picked this stuff over a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not necessarily, I mean, unless there's a reason you have to, you're not necessarily going to cancel because it's wet. You've already committed to it. I mean, not wet, but cold. You've already committed to it. Sometimes people look and say, not only is it going to be cold, but it's going to be raining for the next 3 days.
Yeah.
You're not going to cancel your trip from Idaho
to
Florida because it's going to be cold because you're going to stay home in the cold.
And this is the one time of the year where it rains all day. In the summertime, it rains every day, but it rains for like a couple hours and then it stops. And then not even that long. Sometimes it's 30 minutes and then it stops. It's intense for 30 minutes. You get out of it, you're done, you go back, everything's back to normal. It's less humid. It feels a lot better. But this time of the year, it rains all day nonstop. It's just an absolute mess. And which is crazy because they also have Festival of the Arts going on right now at Epcot, which is fantastic. If you haven't been, you have to go. The Figment's Inspiration Station is amazing. I think I embarrassed my daughter and the people around me by because they had audio from the attraction playing in the area, and I was announcing every part of the attraction where that audio came from as it was playing. And I was like, ooh, because like these memories were flashing in my head, like, oh, I remember that. Remember when this was here and this was here, and my daughter's looking at me like, what are you talking about? And I'll be like, but there was science and crystals and all kinds of amazing things. And she just looked at me like I was crazy. And then of course they have a recreation of the what are they? The rainbow. I call it the rainbow too, but I think what was it called? The sensor. I think it was just called the sensor. But that is the rainbow tube you used to walk in, and it would like change colors as you walk through it, and that was just awesome. So some amazing stuff there, amazing food there. The Figment's Imagination our Inspiration Station is inside the Odyssey. So if you go inside the Odyssey, you can see that there. But yeah,
not Communicore Hallway.
Actually, Communicore Hall has probably the best use of Communicore Hall that there has ever been. I'm not even joking because uh, they put a salute to Disney Broadway in there and is absolutely incredible. I am blown away at how good this is. Um, you can see pictures on our Instagram page, MouseMinds on Instagram. If you look on there, you can see it on there. I am absolutely blown away, no lie, by how that was put together and how well that looks. It is absolutely fantastic. So definitely check that out if you are a fan of Broadway. I'm not a huge fan of Broadway, but it was nice to see all the different costumes and things like that for the different productions and stage productions. And there was also a some really awesome nods to Home Improvement in there because they had all the tools inside the display. They were all Benford tools. So if you don't know, Benford Tools was the tool company, the fictional tool company in Home Improvement, but all the tools inside that were Benford tools. So if you saw a drill or anything else in there, it was a Benford tool. So that was that. And I heard one of the when I was there, because this is the first day, I heard someone. It was one of the people who worked on the display, and they did that. They mentioned that they did that on purpose. So that was actually kind of cool to have that little throwback in there from that old show. So I enjoyed that thoroughly. But Festival of the Arts is amazing. Definitely go. Lots of great artists all there ready to sign artwork. I know I bought some artwork for my daughter, and she got it signed right there on the fly, which was really cool, really great experience, and stuff for every, you know, budget. I mean, there's really expensive artwork, there's really less expensive artwork. There's something for everybody there. So don't think that, you're locked out. It's going to be super expensive, because I saw artwork as low as like $20. So, it's not too crazy, and you can get it signed and have a great time with that. And of course, they have the food booths, they have the Broadway stuff they're doing back in the American Pavilion. So definitely worth. We'll get into that more at a later date once Michael actually has a chance to get down there, and we can talk more about that, more so on and so forth. But we wanted to talk today about being warm and cozy at Walt Disney World, because it's something that I don't think a lot of people talk about, because it only happens for a short period. But man, it's cold out. It's freezing out there, and we're all looking for those amazing places to warm up and have fun when it's cold. And I have a couple different places that I enjoy, um, and I'm sure Michael does too. But I'm gonna go ahead and now this isn't. I'm gonna save my. I'm gonna make you guys wait till the end to hear where I wanted to be today. But I will tell you that I would say one of my top three. One of them would be the campfire sing along at Fort Wilderness. If you've never done this before, it is a lot of fun. It usually generally happens at 7 p.m. at Fort Wilderness. And this is the campsite, not the lodge. You can go over to the Meadows Trading Post area and see this. Um, you don't have to be a guest there to see it, because you can take a boat over from Magic Kingdom, maybe have some dinner at Trails End, and then go over to the Meadows Trading Post, catch a bus or walk to the trading post. It's not too far from the. Actually, you might be better off taking a bus, but take a bus to the trading post and see them doing the live um, campfire sing along. They sing songs, they roast marshmallows. You can buy marshmallow kits for like $10 that come with like a million marshmallows, sticks, chocolate bars, graham crackers, everything you need to make s'mores. And they do that every night, as long as it's not, major inclement weather. Chip and Dale come out. They have a great time. It's just it's fantastic, and you sing along with a guy with a they do a whole show, and it's just absolutely, it's one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites. So definitely something worth checking out while you're there to warm up at there. Now, one other thing that I was thinking of today too, when I was thinking of it. And I think this would be probably my favorite restaurant to go to during colder times. And I don't know if you'll agree with this, Michael, because I know you've been here in the past. But my favorite would be Boma. And I like Boma because, especially during the cold, because of the stews. They have a lot of stews at Boma, a lot of soups, warm stews. Uh, they also have the other dishes like the fufu and everything else, which are fantastic. But for me, during the cold times, when it's cold here in Florida, I like to partake in soups and things like that. And Boma probably has the best soups and stews out of any restaurant on Disney property. So that is definitely, if it's like super cold, it's worth going there and just filling yourself up with the warm, amazing food from there and having a great meal from there. Michael, I don't know if you can agree with that one or not.
I'm I've only done dinner there once.
Hmm.
So I'm more of a breakfast guy.
Okay.
Saturday or Sunday morning, I'll go warm, hearty breakfast. You got your cold options. This might not be the time for the little yogurt parfait, but I mean, anytime you can do a full hot breakfast buffet, especially now to warm up and give yourself
Hmm.
some padding and walk off that breakfast, I'm all for it.
Totally agree 100%. Definitely one of the best breakfast buffets on property. Some amazing items there for you to savor in the morning and have before you go to the parks. And I'm a big, honestly, speaking on breakfast buffets in general, if you're going to the parks, honestly, I've been this way since I was a kid. I think my parents always did this, and it always stuck with me. And I still do it now. I'd much rather have a large breakfast in the morning, a large breakfast buffet in the morning, have it kind of carry me through the day, and then do something for dinner
Yep.
and kind of
Skip a
skip
lunch
lunch and
very
spend that
easily.
time on the rides, whatever else.
Yep.
Or if I get peckish, I can have a snack. But I don't need to do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'd rather just have a nice breakfast buffet, fill up, go to the parks for the day, enjoy that. When it gets later in the evening, have something for dinner when I get really hungry. And then I mean, everybody's different, but that's just always kind of been my operation when it comes to the parks.
Yep. Me too. When I vacation down here, that's exactly what I would do. 2 meals a day. And even dinner wouldn't necessarily be a big meal. If I'm going to do a sit down for breakfast, I might do a counter service for dinner. You
Hmm.
know, we'll see. You stretch the budget as much as you can.
Yeah. I mean that is another benefit of it, but honestly, I just personally, like, I just can't eat that much. Like,
Yeah.
you get a nice breakfast buffet and get going, and it just sets the tone for the rest of the day. And you can
Yep.
spend, for me, it's about saving time. It's about having more time to be in line for attractions, more time to see more things, to do more things inside the parks, whatever I'm doing, instead of having, because I never really thought about it this way till a few years ago, but eating takes up so much time in your day, especially going to a sit down table service restaurant and having to sit at the restaurant or wait at the restaurant for someone to come and check you in, and then have to wait for your table to be available, and you can't necessarily run away from the restaurant. You got to stay in that area because you don't know when you're going to be called. Then you actually get to the restaurant, and you might be in there an hour eating food. So you're looking at 2 hours wasted right there. And if you're in the parks, that may not be, you may not want to give up 2 more hours. You may want to save that for dinner or whatever else. So I say use those snack credits if you have some sort of dining plan during the day. Have a little something at a booth, or grab a little quick snack and then go on throughout the parks. But that's always been my mode there. Now, Michael, what are your do you have any favorite warming spots at the parks?
See, for weather like this, to me, it's less about the parks. For all the money you're spending for your resort, this is an excellent time for me to explore what the options are at the resort. I don't know however long you're going to be in town. If you're going to be here a week, I've never been one of those. I'm here for 7 days. I need to go to the park 7 days. I need to get to when it opens. I run out of things to do.
Mm-hmm.
How many times am I going to ride Dumbo? I've been on, especially in the cold. I'm not riding Dumbo.
Mm-hmm.
All the resorts, especially in the cold or the inclement weather, sometimes they'll pull out things for the kids to do. There are always paid options. Whenever I'd come down, you normally use my DVC points at Wilderness Lodge. Sitting in front of that fireplace, if you can get a seat, because there are people jostling for positions when it's 108 outside. But
I was wondering if you were going to figure out my spot. Yeah, and that is exactly what I was thinking of today at work. I was like, man, I would give anything to be sitting right now at the Wilderness Lodge in front of that fire. Just that's like zoned out, taking a nap, whatever, just enjoying that fireplace at the Wilderness Lodge. That is my number one spot.
Always brought a book down there, a laptop, got some work done, and just sat in front of that fireplace and just keep moving up as people get up and leave.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, again, if people are going to do it in the middle of the summer, best off doing it in the middle of the winter because it is cold. And and then Wilderness Lodge will have the free tour. Get on the tour for a little bit, especially in the morning. If it's going to warm up in the afternoon, why are you going to get there at 8 o'clock in the morning to go stand out in the cold? You're not getting in yet. Take advantage of what's going on at your resort. Is there a craft activity? Is there something you can pay for? Are there free tours? You could kill an hour at Contemporary. Yeah. Walking around, hitting all the gift shops, going into the arcade.
Yeah, of course.
Less to do with the Grand Floridian. You can walk around. All right, it's pretty. I'm done. 10 minutes. Gift shops are tiny. I don't need to buy soap bombs or bath bombs or whatever. So you're not going to necessarily kill a lot of time there. Some of the resorts, smaller lobbies, but you look and people are always afraid to go up, get the calendar. They hand you the calendar when you walk in. These are the activities.
Yeah.
So take advantage, stay in and then go out later when it gets a little warmer outside and it's safer to be outdoors.
Yeah. And especially now with the weather being the way that it is, try to stay in as much. I mean, this rain has just been nonstop and it gets, it's just not something you want to be in the parks. Being in cold, wet weather, getting your socks or shoes wet and then walking around in that all day, it's just not fun.
And then go inside and air condition. You try to get away from the rain by going to one of the shows, and now you got 20 minutes of air conditioning you're sitting in.
Yep.
At the end of the night, you're sick. You wake up the next morning, your throat's hurt, and you got a headache. And well, crud, I probably shouldn't have done everything I did yesterday. Yeah. Now my vacation is put on hold. So now I have to enjoy the room.
Yeah. And you do have some places around the resort too that do have fireplaces here. Another one, Port Orleans Riverside, on the back of Boat Rights Dining Hall, there's a fireplace. I believe Boardwalk has a fireplace too, but I don't know if they actually turn it on.
I would imagine this time of year they kind of have to, especially since these are all gas fireplaces.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. So that is very true.
They're not stoking these fires and not loading them up with wood.
That is very true. And don't forget the biggest one, what I think is the biggest fireplace of them all, which is at the Animal Kingdom Lodge. Mm-hmm. They have a massive fireplace in the lobby area there. Right, on the right as you walk into the right there, it's huge.
You mean that fire pit that they have?
Yeah, the fire pit there as you walk into the right. Yeah. Yep. Fireplace, fire pit. Basically, yeah. But fire pit, yeah.
I'm trying to think if they actually had a fireplace because I know there's that back room that I don't usually go into. I thought maybe they'd have one back there, but the fire pit's nice. So that's for me. It's this time of year. It's more about the resorts. If I had to pick something in the parks,
Hmm.
um, well, again, it's as long as it's not raining, the obvious one, or grab a show.
Yeah.
Or I mean, you can only go sit so long in the, the what the Regal Eagle or whatever it is, the restaurant over by America,
Hmm.
and then the gift shop is now on the other side, so you can't even cut through.
Yeah.
But it's a great time to take in a 40-minute American adventure.
Yeah. But I think the big thing is, like you said, taking the time to hang out at your resort, really explore your resort. That is probably the biggest thing that I would suggest. Just enjoying the beautiful scenery and everything else at your resort. A lot of the resorts have fire pits now, and they do marshmallows too. So that is another one that you can partake in. Is they don't do it all day, but they do have that at night, and of
Yeah,
course,
1 hour a day. Every resort has its own hour. They might
mhm, yep,
overlap in some ways, but don't say, well, it's always 6 to 7. Some of them
yeah,
6:30 to 7:30. If there's even the
you have
slightest
to check.
suggestion of rain, they shut that nonsense down and they don't even
Yep,
assign people. I've gotten burned that way a couple of times.
and there are some. I know, like the restaurants. Um, some of the outdoor restaurants are most are all of the outdoor restaurants at like the parks and stuff that have outdoor seating, or the restaurants that have outdoor seating typically have some sort of heating. I know the if you wanted to kind of sit outside but in a heated location and see the fireworks, the new lounge at the Polynesian, the new tower, the Walulu lounge has really nice heaters out there, and you can sit out there and it's nice and warm and cozy, and you can get yourself a warm drink, and really enjoy that outdoor space. And then, of course, you have an area where the audio for the fireworks is piped in. You can see the fireworks across from the lagoon. So you have some great options there too. And that's another thing too. If you are really into the fireworks, maybe do a dinner somewhere and watch the fireworks from there. Like, for example, Magic Kingdom, go to Walulu, or maybe splurge and go to California Grill and enjoy the fireworks from up there. See something different. Get out of the cold, enjoy the fireworks, enjoy, those. There's still ways to enjoy those shows without having to stand on Main Street in the cold, braving the crowds and whatever else to actually see those fireworks shows.
I wonder if they cancel the boat rides and other special. I would imagine they have heaters because people are paying a boatload to watch fireworks in Epcot outdoors. But if you have a boat, are they just as happy for you to cancel it?
I mean, I've seen. I mean, I've seen people. I've seen boats just get. People just don't show up.
Hmm.
I've seen that. I mean, I was a I was a I was privy to that once, many moons ago, where I was at the Contemporary inside the Wave, having some appetizers with friends at the bar, and I walked outside, and there was a boat captain standing there, and he says, "Hey, do you like the fireworks?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Come with me, bring your friends." And I went and got my friends, and he took us out on a boat that someone had rented for the fireworks, no charge because they already paid for it. They already paid for the snacks they loaded on the boat, so we got access to the snacks, everything else. Like it just happened. So yes, people do order these things and they just don't show up, and then they just, which is blows my mind because I'm sure that's very expensive, but that's what happens.
Sure.
Now, one other thing that I was thinking of course, is all of the Starbucks locations we have inside the parks, whether it be Connections Cafe or the Main Street Bakery or the Trolley Car Cafe. Those places at the parks really give you an option to get a nice warm drink, and enjoy some enjoy a nice Starbucks warm drink, warm up your day, and you can spend some time if you go to Main Street Bakery, obviously you're going to spend some time in the heat waiting in line to get your drink, especially on a cold day. But you have those as well as the Joffrey's booths around the park, where you can get drinks as well. So you do have those options too for kind of staying warm inside the parks. But if like we've said numerous times this episode, I would say the biggest thing, hang out at your resort, but also keep in mind when it's this cold, things shut down. The pools shut down. The water parks close. They close down for the day. Obviously, they don't want people swimming in this when it's this cold out in the pools, although some people love to, but the pools and things like that. And check with your resort. Always check when you they have that WDW TV channel there, WDW Today or whatever it is on the screen there that gives you all the info. Check that. Check the front desk. Ask them. But yeah, they do shut down the pools. They do shut down the water parks, things like that. So things do shut down even when it's just cold out. It doesn't have to be rainy. It's just the cold out. They shut them down.
And rightfully so. It shouldn't take Disney closing their water park when it's 52 degrees out for people not to go. Find
Agreed.
Anywhere else. Don't put your kids in the park here. It's warm. Coming out, it is not warm. It's 40. Stop. You didn't come to Florida in January with the anticipation to swim.
So. Exactly. So it is one of those things. Just keep in mind. I've seen people upset by that before. I've personally seen that myself. And I mean, obviously people who come from different parts of the country, they handle the cold differently, and they think that they can handle it, and they get upset because they can't make their own decision. But Disney, they got to watch out for everyone, so they don't do that, because you don't want people freezing, nor do you want to have lifeguards out in shorts and whatever else in that temperature weather.
Yeah, think of the staff at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why all these people, they gave me the free water park day and now I can't use it. Will they extend it? You pick January to come down. We've got 3 weeks of winter in Florida. You're right in the middle of it. Welcome to it. You weren't anticipating that free water park day anyway.
Yeah. Let
it go. You'll get it when you come in the summer. So.
Yeah. Now, do you have anywhere else, Michael, that you like to go when it's cold?
I'm trying to think. A lot of the parks are outdoors anyway, and a lot of the queues are outdoors. So you're, and the problem with that is that you're standing in one place, and it does get chilly. I don't, maybe the safari is not the right place to go. And,
no,
so certain rides you probably don't want to do. So outside of the shows and the resorts, I'm blanking on other places to go. For our listeners, we'd love to interact with you. This week, I have got my Facebook open, so I am here to comment with you. Robert's got his social media open. So yeah, if you have other ideas for us, share them. And we'd love to hear where you enjoy spending the cold weather.
Of course.
Even go to Disney Springs. I mean, you could spend a lot of time in
the
World of Disney. It's an easy one. If you want to bounce between shops, that's fine. But again, just if you can find a lunch, this might be a good time to find a nice sit down and take that 25, 30 minutes to have lunch. Don't do a 10-minute counter service because you're going to be right back out in that cold. So if there's a restaurant you haven't tried yet and there's availability, give it a try. Some of them have walk-up. You check the My Disney Experience app. It'll say join the walk-up queue.
Join the wait list.
Yeah, get the wait list. And then you can go in. Hey, I've never thinking about doing sci-fi if I go up tomorrow because it's going to be chilly. Don't know if I'm going to go, so I'm not going to make that reservation. But I'll certainly try to get in and take the half hour and sit inside. You've got the night sky, but it's not 48 degrees. So
yeah. I mean, and keep in mind too, with Florida weather, it's going to be, this week is a little different. We have like 1 week of the year where it's kind of really cold all week. And it's going to be kind of cold all week. Again, everybody has a different level of what cold is, but it won't be as rainy on.
And the rain's going to be a little. It lost your audio, Robert. Can't hear you, sir. But yeah, the rain, you don't know what's going to happen with that rain. And once you start checking, hopefully you did prepare with the ponchos or umbrellas, which are a little harder to handle. Remember that poncho is only going to keep you covered so far. Your legs are going to get wet. Your sneakers are going to get wet. That's the time to. And it's a pain and you might not want to, but you might have to go back to your hotel room and regroup. Yeah. Don't go carrying luggage with 5 changes of clothes for everybody. Plan on that midday, go back, see if the weather's going to change. You know, if you've been getting poured on all morning and it's cold, go back, watch TV, do something in the room, watch a movie, then plan on going back out once the rain stops, get changed, dry off, maybe take a shower, and then go back out. It's not worth getting sick on vacation. I will promote that forever.
And it's not cold every day. No, it will get warm again fairly quickly. So don't.
This week it's cold every day.
Yeah, this week is.
Stop lying to people. This is our
like I said. We are literally. There's 1 week out of the year where we're broken. We're down for maintenance, and this is the week that we're down for maintenance.
Pensacola literally shoveling. They're not even. Hey, we got a cute dusting. That's so cute. They are shoveling their walkways.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So it is. The state is. We're hanging in there. Think of your Florida friends. But yeah. So yeah, there are lots of great places to warm up inside. You know, the parks here at Walt Disney World. Now, just speaking of Orlando in general, keep in mind that some of the other parks, places like SeaWorld, they closed early today. So parks do close early when it gets cold too. They don't stay open the full amount of hours. So you'll want to check the hours periodically because they do update, but that is something that happens as well. But I will say the best part about it being cold, and this is not a Disney thing, is that we finally get warm butterbeer at Hogsmeade. So that is a definite plus for me because it is the only butterbeer that I like. I don't like the cold stuff. I like the warm stuff. And it is amazing. So I'm looking forward to getting one of those really soon. And I will go back to. I need to go back before they do Mardi Gras because that's starting soon. I think that starts at the beginning of February. So I'll probably make it just in time for that. But I definitely want to get some warm butterbeer and have some with Harry Potter because that is on my list. I have not done that yet this year.
And along those lines, it's great that you brought that up, especially now that we are in the middle of yet another Epcot festival. Grab that festival book because while they do have a lot of cold beverages, there's some nice warm ones too.
Yeah, they know their season.
Flavored coffees, flavored hot chocolates, flavored liqueur, warm liqueur. Check them out. This is when you break out that gift card and you just start testing them out. It doesn't just have to be Joffrey's or Starbucks.
Yeah, exactly. You're 100% correct. And even the booths as well. I'm going to throw this up here real fast. If I can get it up here. Let me see. Where is it? Hold on 1 second. I'm going to throw up a photo real fast here. If it lets me. Okay. This is one of the booths that they have, the Pop Eats booth, which is at the Festival of the Arts. And this is their signature item here, which is the grilled cheese with the tomato soup. Yep. And, I heard people knock this and say, oh, it's just tomato soup and grilled cheese. And that may be true, but it's actually really good tomato soup and a really good grilled cheese.
It's an inexpensive meal. I've been looking forward to this one since last year. That pimento cheese, grilled cheese.
Oh yeah,
really nice stuff.
Yeah, that one has meat in it, so I didn't have that one, but they do that was the one that and it comes with the same and a soup can with the creme fraiche on top and the whole thing. It's really good. So don't knock it until you try it. Please try it. It's for what you pay for that at a Disney. location, you get a good amount of food for I think like $5 or $6,
Yeah,
and
I'm
it's
surprised they didn't
hot.
jack up the price because that was one of those things that they're like, I don't know how they were making money. It's an
Yeah,
excellent price. Yeah, it's a half a sandwich, but uh, pretty
it's
decent stuff. The
filling.
soup
It's
was
it's it's
very
a
tasty.
pretty filling portion.
Yeah, it's a
I
nice
would
one.
say probably the best portions that we get out of any festival are
Yep.
during the Festival of the Arts. I don't know
Mhm.
what it is, but the portions at a lot of the booths seem to be a lot more than what they normally are. Of course, the big thing with Festival of the Arts is making the food pretty. It's all about the art portion of the food, or eating with your eyes. But they have some amazing hot dishes available at that. So definitely check that out. And like we have said before, check out your favorite restaurants, especially a great one to do where you could really spend some time at inside Epcot would be the beer garden. You could enjoy the show inside there. You can just sample things from the buffet. It's all excellent, warm, filling food. That would be an excellent dinner to have inside the parks as well. So, there's a lot of great options for this time of year at Walt Disney World. There's a lot of great options all around Orlando. Do what uh, your favorite is and go from there. Now, one more thing. And Michael, do you have anything else to say about warm and cozy? Because I'm going to move on to something else here real quick.
Oh,
And
slide away, sir.
so, so I got the opportunity, and I know sometimes we like to talk about other parks in the Orlando area and things like that, and I'm always out and about. I'm always going to the other parks. I'm always going around to see, what's happening and see what's going on at the other parks and so on and so forth. And I recently got the opportunity to go to SeaWorld. And of course, I love SeaWorld. I'm a platinum pass holder at SeaWorld. It's one of my favorite parks in Orlando to go to. And right now, one of the things that they're doing, and they only do this in January, and it's a really amazing thing, is called Inside Look. And SeaWorld does this once a year where basically you get your park admission into the park, and then with your park admission, that grants you access to tours all around the park. And these tours actually take you behind the scenes. So you actually go behind the scenes to different um, aquariums and tanks and storage facilities, and there's just all kinds of things that you get to actually explore with this tour. And it was, I gotta just say, it was probably the best time that I've had at SeaWorld in a while. um, the behind the scenes stuff at SeaWorld really fascinates me, learning about the animals, so on and so forth. It just fascinates me. It's the reason why I enjoy SeaWorld so much, and also learning about the conservation efforts and what they do outside of the parks is a big deal to me too, because I've seen it firsthand myself. Growing up on the coast, I've seen SeaWorld come out and rescue animals right on the coast of Florida here. So there is a lot going on now. What now? They basically have tours all over the parks that you can go to, from behind the scenes at the sea lions, where you can go in the back and see the sea lions that are maybe in some sort of protective care because they're not feeling well, or they need to be monitored for a couple of days before they can be put back with the other sea lions. Or you have behind the scenes here with seals, going into their habitat and watching them swim around and see the areas where they play and are fed, and the things, and learn about what it takes to care for those animals. You also have, there's one right there, a nice seal right there on the screen for you guys watching live. You also get taken back into areas like the fishery, where you get to see where they, make the food for the animals, where they prepare the fish. I'll give you a little pro tip: it smells horrible back there, but they are it is so clean and immaculate back there. It's really something that you have to see, and it really gives you an eye on what it takes. When you really think about what it takes to maintain SeaWorld from a animal perspective, it's a lot. And being able to see that firsthand really puts that to perspective. Not only from the care of the animals, but the veterinary care, the research that goes into what they're learning there as they have these animals there that they picked up from captivity, or put them in captivity because they couldn't handle themselves in the wild, or maybe they were sick or whatever else. There, there's a lot going on, and you get to see a lot. And I was super, super, super impressed with every tour that we did. I got to get up close and personal with flamingos. They literally like got right in my face. It was, I mean, they just wanted to come. I mean, I watched them do it with the ambassador. It was getting up close to her and rubbing up against her, and they just enjoy, people. And it was really awesome to see all those interactions up front. It was really cool to see the care that goes into. It was really cool to see some of the veterinary facilities where they're performing surgeries, where they're saving these animals' lives and preparing them to be returned back into the wild, preparing them to be either kept because they can no longer survive in the wild, or to be released into the wild. They do both, and it was really awesome to see that going on. I mean, we saw manatees, we saw sea turtles, we saw, I mean, everything, and the normal places you can't go, that's where we were. It was absolutely, I mean, these are tours that you would pay hundreds of dollars to do on a regular day, just to do one tour, and this was included with your day's admission. So
Great opportunity.
yeah, it's a great opportunity for anyone who's interested in marine biology, or the study of the animals, so on and so forth. And they do it in a way that's fun and educational, and you really get a chance to get, to get close to these animals. And it's amazing to see the people that were there. They know all these animals, they know their names, they know their stories. I mean, even the guests that were in the parks, they know their stories. They follow along on social media. So they all have fans. And it's great to see that, that they love these animals just as much as, the trainers do in the parks, and so on and so forth. So if you are in Orlando in January, I mean, honestly, I recommend SeaWorld to anybody who comes to Orlando. I think it's a great, great, great park. If you have any family members who are into roller coasters or sea life, it is the place to go. They have the most coasters in Orlando, so you can absolutely have a blast there with that. But they also have amazing, amazing aquariums and tanks and things like that. So definitely worth checking out. If you are in Orlando, just get a ticket to go there. They run some amazing specials online on their website to get a ticket to go to SeaWorld. And this is included in your day's admission. The only thing that I will tell you is to get there early, because some of these tours require return times, and those do fill up quick, and they start giving out return times, I think like 10 or 11. And the tours open at noon and go till 5. Now, some of them you can just walk up, get in line, and they're constantly cycling tours throughout the day. But some of them do require that you have a return time. And just to show you, I want to show you one more photo here, because this was one of the nicer, or one of the cooler tours that we did. Now, when you are at SeaWorld, one of the things that's been there since the creation of SeaWorld is their sharks underwater aquarium, where you actually get to go underwater, go through the tunnel, and see the different sharks swimming throughout the tank, and so on and so forth. Well, with this tour, we actually got to go behind the scenes and go into the tank, and actually above the tank, and kind of look down in it, and talk to one of the trainers who cleans the tank, takes care of the tank, everything else. And this was actually a really cool view. Looking over, you can see the tube down there, if you're watching online, where you can see in there with the tank, and where people are going through the little tube, and you see the sharks swimming over. And this was actually just it was amazing to see all that in person, and to hear what it takes to maintain a structure like this and to maintain an aquarium like this, and you know how they're dive certified, and hearing stories where you know the I forget the name of the shark, but one of the sharks in the tank is actually blind, and he actually um, likes it when they get in the tanks because he will nudge himself on the divers, who the trainers and divers who go into the tank. He will nudge himself on them, and that's sort of like playtime recreation for him. It's, you know, almost like your your animals would nudge you. They do that in the tanks too with the trainers, and that, it's so cool to hear stories like that, and you know those bonds that they have with the animals at the park there. So that is just really cool stuff, and you learn all about that stuff when you do these tours, and they're just fantastic. I highly recommend, if you have anyone. Of course, my daughter is interested in, you know, she's expressed interest in becoming a veterinarian later on in life. So you know, this is why, one of the main reasons why I took her, so she could, you know, talk to real veterinarians. And anybody, you know, really anybody. I found them fascinating myself, and I'm not, you know, I'm not a huge sea life person, but it was really cool to learn about the different animals and what's involved, and you know what is the biggest threat to their habitats, and why these animals are endangered, and what they're doing to save them. And it's also, like I said, it's also really cool to hear how the research that they're doing, having them there, helps them understand them more in the wild, so that way they can provide better care for them and get them back out there. So kudos to SeaWorld. Inside look was amazing. Last thing I will tell you, if you do go, they do a live show called Seal of Fortune, which is kind of like a Wheel of Fortune. It was a game show, where they get two children from the audience to come on stage, and they pair them up with the Longshoremen, which is a comedy troupe that they have inside the park. And then they also have some actual ambassadors come on stage on the other team and pair up with one of the children. And basically, they do trivia questions, and whoever wins they have a huge Plinko board that they use, and they actually drop golden coins that they receive during the game onto the Plinko board. And the great thing about this is there's actual real prizes associated with this. There is some absolutely amazing prizes with this game, ranging anywhere from there's prizes like a you know a huge stuffed animal from the gift shop, a T-shirt, all the way up to a a package for two to Discovery Cove to swim with the dolphins. And the game that we actually went to, there was the child that was actually up there was with, I don't know, I think he was with a Make-A-Wish family, and they actually won the dolphin experience for two. Because the Plinko, it's right in the middle. Of course, if you've ever seen Plinko, it's the middle one is always the hardest one to get, but he actually got it in there and won the dolphin encounter for two at Discovery Cove. So he won 2 free tickets to Discovery Cove with the dolphin encounter, which, if you don't know, is probably like $300 to $400 depending on the time of the year that you go per person. So that was pretty amazing that SeaWorld was giving away awesome gifts like that at, you know, something as silly as a little game inside the park, you know, to get people excited about animals. But really cool information. Like I said, if you're in the area, definitely check it out, and you will not be disappointed. SeaWorld always does a great job with stuff like this. So definitely check that out if you're in the area.
And if we could just bring that back around to Disney so we don't lose our core Disney fans.
Mhm.
You're right. With all that's going on in SeaWorld, now you're making me think, especially in the cold, go kill an hour or two in the seas.
Yeah.
You know, ride the ride,
Yeah.
go sit with Crush and walk
Yep.
around. Yeah, you're never going to get the experience you do at SeaWorld. I mean,
Yeah.
that is dedicated to marine life,
Yeah.
marine conservation, a lot of different areas
And
here. So
And
many
this,
different levels and areas and corners to nooks to check out.
yeah, and the C's is too. Don't get it wrong. The C's
Yeah.
are in there as well. You know, they do a lot. The C's have done a lot for manatee conservation.
Which they got rid of
They
all their manatees, I think I read.
Well, they did, but they're actually supposedly
Temporarily.
getting more. They're swapping them out. They're in the process of swapping them out because most of the mammals that they have at these aquariums, or a lot of them, are, you know, they nurse them back to health and then put them back in the wild. Unless you know they can't go back into the wild, they won't survive in the wild. Then they come up with a different plan for them. But that's what happened at Epcot, from what I understand. So they're going to be switching them out with new manatees, which should be in the next coming months, if I understand correctly. So we'll have some more manatee friends sure soon enough here.
But yeah, you're never going to get that full. Yeah, you've got staff, and it is
Hmm.
their job to stand there and answer questions
Hmm.
all day. And I think they like it when you take an
Of
interest,
course.
engage them, because otherwise they're standing there
Of
talking to
course.
nobody. You're not going to get, I mean, heck, the day it sounds like you got to spend at SeaWorld for free with all those
Yeah.
tours, you're never going to get anything comparable to that at Disney. It's not going to,
And,
you got to pay $20 if you want to go look at seeds and plants
and
for, you know,
SeaWorld,
to get to
and
do
sorry,
something like that at SeaWorld is
yeah.
incredible. You know, but
And
the closest you'll get to that will be the seas.
and C's does have tours that take you backstage. If you want to, I've done this myself. You can go swimming in the tank. I've done it. You can do I don't know which I don't know. And they do have what's called a dive quest, where if you have your diver's certification, you can actually dive in the tank. And it is one of the coolest experiences that you will ever do. I didn't do the dive quest because I don't have my diver certification. What I did was I still wore a tank, but they basically gave us floaters and let us float the around the top of the tank, maybe going a couple feet down in the water, and
Sure.
then actually exploring the tank that way. But we swam right with the fishes. They came up to us, the dolphins,
Wow.
all the animals came over to us, and that is an amazing experience that I don't think a lot of people know that you can actually do.
And I
And
think
it
that
is
something
worth
like that's
every
probably
penny.
less available to folks, unlike the flamingo encounter, where anyone, whether you can swim or not, you're able to go in
Of
there.
course.
You can go look at the sharks, you know, all that stuff. But yeah, if that's what you can do, you're not going to take your 3-year-old on a scuba diving adventure. But
Of
for
course.
adults, and you're there by yourself, and hey, you know what? I would love to go scuba diving, and maybe I'm not going to go all the way down, but give me some floats, and I can have an encounter with some fish. Awesome.
And you
So
know, speaking of tours, another one that kills a good amount of time and is actually a pretty decent value is the behind the scenes tour
yep.
at Living with the Land and the Land Pavilion. It's, you know, it's consistently been a pretty it's been one of the lowest priced tours. It's about an hour and a half long. They take you through the gardens. They teach you what it's like to what it takes to maintain the gardens. They also give you samples of food from the gardens. So that is a really, I've done that a couple of times because of how great that is. That how great of a tour that is.
Yeah, I haven't done it yet. I'm still trying to. Again, by the time I get there after work, it's already closed.
Hmm.
If I take another day and go in when my pass isn't blocked, it's definitely something on my list.
So just so you know, because I just looked it up, the cost of the behind the scenes tour varies from $39 to $45.
Wow, it used to be a $20 tour.
Even still, though, I mean, that's
Yeah,
I mean,
double the
even at
price.
39 $45, I mean, that's
Mhm.
still a really good
Yeah.
deal. And that was updated. This was from um last year, so I'm assuming the price is probably around the same. I don't know the exact pricing. You'd have to go there and check. They have a little stand set up where you can book the tour inside the park. But it is an excellent tour, and you get it. You can kill a nice hour in the gardens there and really enjoy the warmth and enjoy the area in there. And it's a lot of fun. So definitely something worth checking out when you're looking for to kill some time inside. Even during the summer, it's great, especially during the summer, because you get to go through. It's nice and cool, temperature controlled in there. They feed you some cucumbers at the end. It's a lot of fun.
Look at, yeah. So I mean, that's another way to beat that cold temp. So awesome.
Well, guys, I think that's going to do it for this week's show. We certainly appreciate all of you joining us this week as we brave these cold temperatures. What was it? They said in the Canadian movie, The Great White North, everything is snowing nonstop up there, and that's I mean that's got to be what, because if it's so cold down here, I can only imagine what it is up there right now in Canada. But nah, I joke. But yeah, stay warm out there, and take these little hints, find these little spots, find whatever works best for you. Spend that day at the resort, hang out in front of the fireplace, take that time to maybe go out and make some s'mores in the nice cold weather, have a different experience than just going to the parks. I think the most important thing here that we can't stress enough, and we've probably stressed this in a lot of episodes, is the parks are great, and I think everybody has the mindset when they go to Disney, parks. I got to get in all the rides I want. I got to do this. I got to do that. And it's nice to take those days to really enjoy your resort, enjoy what you paid for. You paid to be at this amazing resort. Find those little spots, whether it's warm or cold. And really take that time to enjoy what's there. And I think you'll find that there is a lot to be offered that you are maybe didn't know about, or maybe are missing out on. All kinds of various activities. Even right now, I've seen that they're offering characters at some of the resorts right now because of the cold weather. Some of the resorts have characters inside the resorts. So, not like in the lobby, not like at a restaurant. I mean, of course, you can see them at like Chef Mickey's, but in the lobbies, things like that. So you can do meet and greets there as well. So there's a lot of things going on to help everybody beat the cold and so on and so forth. So be on the lookout for those things. Always check, with your front desk, see what's going on, see where all that fun is to be had. But I think that's going to do it for this week's show. Michael, did you have anything else to add before we wrap this up?
No, it was a great talk. I feel warmer already. So thank you.
Well, guys, as I always say, if you can dream it, you can do it. That has been this week's episode. We love all of y'all. We will see you next Tuesday, and find us on YouTube, Facebook, and find us on Instagram, because I'm going to be all the times I'm at Disney, I'm going to be posting stuff. And let me know if you'd like to see stuff on our Instagram from other parks that I go to in the Central Florida area, or other attractions that I go to in the Central Florida area, because I'm always exploring. Please let me know, and I will post those things as well, because I am always out doing something fun, and I would love to share that with you guys. So please let me know. But that's going to do it for this week. Find us at 5 p.m. every Friday on your favorite podcasting platform. And we hope that you have a great rest of your week. And we hope that wherever you are staying warm and cozy.
Yep. Next week, everyone.
All right. Bye, guys.